Hey everybody, and welcome to my shop. I recently realized that I haven't done a shop tour, a proper shop tour of this place, even though I've been here for around about 3 years. So this week I want to do an honest shop tour, and honest means I was too lazy to clean up. And I'm also going to talk about the projects that I did in the shop and give you feedback if it was worth it or not. Let's go! Just to give you some rough orientation how the shop layout looks. So, oh, already messed up. So, yeah, and I forgot again the outside area.
Hä? Nimm doch einfach da deinen grünen Teppich als Rasen.
This is the outside area. We are currently right here. This is the wood area. This is the metal area. And this is my storage area. Garden stuff, the forbidden horse box, my camper, and then even further here we have my containers, barbecue area with some benches. And that's it. Okay, let's start with the light switch. That is a project I actually haven't done myself. It's from my friend M. and it's the freaking coolest thing. And the first thing I see and touch when I get to the shop. So this is how I turn off and on the light. Right? Look at all these moving parts. And then so this changes, this little button changes. So that is the light switch. Love it. Move on. Oh yeah. Remember the emergency hammer? Also, that's really useful. That's actually one of the, probably I would say, top 3 most useful things that we've built for the shop. And that is the sandpaper storage that keeps the sandpaper from rolling up. Okay, then we have the light switch, also pretty useful. This is for me that I don't forget to turn off the light and also all my appliances like the chargers and everything. I don't want to leave it running overnight, so this gets triggered by my shop keys, and now all these boxes have power. Speaking of boxes, I bought these boxes on eBay for dirt cheap compared to what it is. It's a former espionage defense unit. It's probably one of the coolest things that I own. And all my chargers, all the batteries, whoops, pretty empty right now. Everything I need is in here. All the hand tools and obviously all the stuff that needs power. It's always ready to go, is so useful. So this is the tool wall. I did not build this specifically for this shop. This is from the shop that I had before, but it still fits and it's still super useful. I got so used to having the most essential tools always on the ready. I can only recommend an open tool wall. And now let's talk about the biggest disappointment of all the projects that I built for this shop. The idea was to have all my clamps on this movable board that can just pick up and pull it up so it's out of the way. First of all, I think that was a stupid idea because it's just like 20 centimeters. It's not really in the way in the first place. Also, it's super heavy, and it turns out I didn't know how a pulley works. So this project just doesn't work. Moving on from this. Yeah, the sink, I built that one too. It's made of plywood scraps and it's a shop sink, so it's supposed to look like that. It is supposed to be super dirty, but it still works technically. So I'm happy with the sink. What do we have? The sharpening station. I use it so much I forgot how it opens. What? Okay, you see that?
So easy.
It's actually the first time I've opened this since I built it. I never use it, never. It's not that it doesn't work, I just never sacrifice the time to keep my tools sharp, which is a mistake. I should do that more often, but it's a very cool project. I just never use it. Hi. Oh, I think he's mad. Oder sind da Mäuschen? So this shop used to be an old car shop. That's why we have this thing where people could stand under the car. And over the years, it got just filled with trash, and then they put these boards over. And if I would have to guess, there are probably 2,000 mice in there. The shop is full of mice. It is what it is. I also have never had a shop without mice, so that's okay. Mice are better than rats. This is also very important. I've done a couple projects for it, but I haven't built it myself. It's an urban drive-style bike, and I use it all the time. To go run with Smudo, to, I don't know, get some food. It's probably in use daily. Moving on, talking about daily use, this is probably my #1 most useful project that I've built so far. It doesn't look like much, but it is the essence of productive work for me. Since I've built this, I think 2 years ago, I haven't had the problem that I don't know where my screws are, I don't know where the right bolt is, all these things. So as you can see, each element has these little drawers that you can just pull out. And that means you can take out the whole bin and then look for your stuff. And it's color-coded and it's just perfect. I love it so much. It's perfect. The blue stuff is all for mechanical screws. The red stuff is for wood screws. And then the white stuff is more specialized stuff. It's the brass and the raw steel stuff. The orange is also special stuff, leather, sewing, rivets. And then yellow is, well, yellow isn't really, it's electro and sheet metal doesn't go together, but I remember it for some reason. So that's the cool thing about these boxes. You can just take these off and then exchange the color code if you change your mind about this. It was an investment, but it's very, very useful. Oh, is that single use? No. If you're into this or you want to reorganize your stuff, check out this video. I think it's very helpful. Oh, we have one new thing. We now have photo backgrounds. I say this all the time. Document your work. You need to document your work. This was something that I struggled with all my life, all my creative life. And only when I started making YouTube videos, I understood that it is just so important to document everything. And all these projects that I made before YouTube and all these shops that I had before YouTube, I sometimes only have one picture. It's insane. All these ideas are lost. And I don't have a catalog of my old stuff before I knew how to do things. And back then I didn't care to document it. I was kind of embarrassed how shitty everything looks. But now I would give everything to see the first steps. So document your work. I'm still taking that serious, so we got some photo backgrounds just to make good photos of the projects. So generally, this is the woodworking area. Of course, the heart of it is always the table saw. That's my saw stop. I get so many messages. I think it's the only saw stop in Europe, and I got it because they send it to me. A lot of people ask me where they can buy it. Unfortunately, I don't think it's possible. But Festool now makes this construction site saw that has the saw stop technology in it. So that's the closest you can get to the original design of the saw stop here in Germany. Up there is another investment. I built this little platform. Well, little, it's actually pretty big and substantial. And I keep all my plywood up there, just so that I have more room, or as much room as I can. Because you see, my shop is pretty narrow. It has those 2 narrow rooms, and just the width is a little bit restricted. So everything that I can store overhead makes sense for me. Okay, so of course, here's the miter saw. Super useful. Don't have to talk about that. Everybody knows how useful a miter saw is. And now we're entering the metal area, the metal shop. Since the house project, I haven't spent too much time in here. I miss it dearly. All my beautiful welders, my beautiful bandsaw. This is probably one of the most emotionalized tools that I have. I just love this bandsaw so much. It looks so good. It's just the perfect color, the perfect shape. Beautiful. And yes, the Bridgeport, which is a machine that I haven't conquered. I really want to learn this, but so far I can solve all my problems with an angle grinder. So one day I will learn how to be precise enough to use this beauty. Same goes for the lathe. Super rusty. Why is it so rusty? Jesus. That's better. I usually always keep my tools, especially the old ones that are raw steel, covered in ballistol, so stuff like that doesn't happen. I don't know, must have forgotten it. Here we have my cutting oil mixing station. So if I need new cutting oil, I simply go 1 part ballistol, 1 part water, and that's it. So then I can just shake it. And this is also pretty handy for the drill press. I just attach this little thing to the wall. Also, this is a riddle for you. Who knows this? A food as well as a drink. So, in the comments, what is it? Is a food as well as a drink? It's not Jack Daniels. Jack Daniels is not a food. So, same as the clamp storage, this is one of those projects that just simply failed. I wanted to have an automated cooling liquid pump made out of a windshield wiper fluid pump, but it didn't work. It's empty now. It just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. Now, this is where the problems begin. This was the last part of the shop that looks really good, I think. Now, let's go to the area that was intended to be my deep storage area. Not for tools, not for consumables like screws. I have that figured out, I think. But how do I organize and store tons and tons of materials that I think that look cool, but I sometimes don't even know what it is? And everything has a different form factor, and it's so much, and people give me so much stuff, and I find the coolest stuff on the streets. I'm so overwhelmed and I want to keep everything, but I don't have a good system for this. I thought I had a good system. I built this also probably 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, and I thought that would be the solution. It's not, as you can see. Don't worry too much. I have a plan for this whole wall. Hopefully, still figuring this out because this is a deep storage system that has to be done right. I learned so much from the past shops and the past mistakes like these shelf systems that now I want to do it right. And I'm planning something, but it might take some time. It's another big investment for the shop, but it will be awesome. There are just too many things, but it's good stuff. Is that what every hoarder says?
Yes. I know this problem too.
Yeah. And especially since the other side is so nice. Smudo, did you hear Smudo knock? Hey, Shannon. Ja, zu warm draußen, ne? Hast du eine Bumsbirne gekriegt? Oh nein. Oh nein. Up there, obviously, is my bike storage. So there are some old projects. Maybe you remember the beer bike. Or the tall bike, or the bike with a cup holder, or the bike with the skateboard as cargo racks. They're all up there, and hopefully some future projects. The idea of having my sponsors in the shop. This is perfect. I have to clean this up a little bit, but it's hard to keep this organized when this is such a mess. But this is my own personal hardware store. And also check out my little Leatherman cabinet. So here I keep not all of them, but some of the special stuff that I have from Leatherman. Some of the projects that I made, like my key projects, the first Leathermans that I engraved. Oh, this is really cool. Tom Sachs made these.
Ist das ein kleiner Enterhaken?
Yeah. It's a little grappling hook. Isn't that cool? There are some of these objects where you know when you get them that you will never, ever, ever, ever get rid of them. Do you know that feeling?
Absolutely.
This is so good.
Nice.
That's why I don't take it with me, because I'm so scared that I lose it, because I think it is so cool. This is like a proper Batman thing, you know? Gadget.
Nice.
Also, ice pick from Jimmy, the fancy one with the magnet and the spirit level. So then there's the deep storage, and there's a little story to that. When I came to Adam Savage's shop for the first time, probably 5 years ago or 6 years ago, he had a full box of Leatherman Charge, I think it was. And I was so impressed by that. It was like, this dude is a big deal. He has a full box of packaged Leatherman. I was so impressed. And then over the years, I got to work with Leatherman. And then I made it a habit to always have a couple tools here in my deep storage. So when people come visit and they don't have a Leatherman, that I can give them one. Like, I gave one to Felix when he came here for the first time. The K2, obviously the Wave, really fancy the P2. Micras, those are always really, really good presents. Yeah, and I wanted to do some experiments with this one. But those are my favorite models, and I'm so thankful to Leatherman that I can have my own deep storage of Leatherman, so I can give it to people who don't have one. So last but absolutely not least, Festool. I'm still working on this system though, because I built this before. I had the spy cases, and with Festool I have so many tools and they have so much stuff. I really have to find a better system to have a deep storage for all my Festool consumables. Very useful, but this is not the end of the conversation. It will be better than that. So now, this is my dark side and also the dark side of the shop. The most abandoned room in the building. But I said, this is an honest shop tour, so here you go. This is my CNC room. And I think just the way how this room looks speaks a lot for how much I love working with CNC and computers in general. It's just a mess. I really just want to close the door and burn this room down, to be honest. I don't even want to clean this up. I just want it to be gone. And from here, we can go straight into the backyard. And I always forget that I have this, even though it's so big. Remember the fire shooting star maker machine that I made? Yeah, that's still there. The garden is not in a good shape. This year I did not have any time to care for this at all. The first Corona year was really good. Like, we could almost eat something from the garden every day. But this year we only have raspberries. They somehow survived. Tu Kamera weg, die essen jetzt alle auf.
Timelapse.
The camper. You might remember this one. And I don't want to talk about the horse box. Moving on, nothing to see there.
I don't know what it is, but I think she never finished it.
Here I have the outside area and my 2 containers. I got all these canvas stuffs from the exhibition in Hamburg, and behind this, come inside. This was actually for Janine's birthday. We had the present in there and she had to grab it out of there. And when I bought this, they also had this. And I was so curious, if you know what this is, please let me know, because I was like, who or what is this thing? And they said, I don't know, I think it's a panda. I was like, what? It's not a panda.
This is the dream that you have the key for this.
Ja, voll, ne? Oops. Oh. Okay, when I got this...
Hey, guck mal!
Ja, wer ist er? Hey!
Come in!
Alles okay? Willst du mal fahren? Willst du da so
Du
fahren?
gehörst zur Roomtour, komm schon!
Suchst du mich denn, oder was? Ich wollte gucken, was ihr macht. Ja, wir zeigen hier die Sachen. I got this for dirt cheap because it was broken, but it turns out there was just a little contact that was broken, and now it works, and you can steer it even. Like so, this goes up. I have to say it is a little faster with a kid inside. And then you can steer it to the right and it goes down. It is a lot smoother with a kid inside. I'm not sure. Do you want to go, Felix?
Sure.
Schon geil, ne?
Das ist mega.
Let's move on to the metal area. And obviously this is something that I could absolutely improve as well, but for now it works. Even though it looks super messy, I actually know exactly where what is. And it's a system that works. It's not ideal, but I have all this outside space, so I'm not so worried about wasting space outside that I'm about wasting space inside. Oh, did you see the boat? That's the boat that I found in a lake. Yeah, that's there. My brother and Janine are working outside today. We can also go into the neon room and the sewing room. I need to get the key though.
Janine kann mal ihre Erfindung zeigen.
Ach so, ja.
Welche Erfindung?
Hä?
Ach, der Karton.
Janine ist nämlich auch eine Makerin, tief im Herzen.
Ja, zeig mal die Erfindung.
This is brilliant. Outside of it with Janine.
Okay, that's the last part of the shop. I would say 30% of this room are dedicated to Felix's stuff that he just stores here. He says he wants to just for 2 weeks and then it's there for...
What? That's a lie.
No, I offered that he can park this here. Those are Riso printers?
Yeah, risographen.
Risographen. I've never worked with it, but Felix says it's awesome, so we should do this. Maybe we make some posters or whatever.
Absolutely, yes.
But now to the heart of this room, and that's why it's called the neon room. This is where I keep the neon that I find. For some reason, I have a big heart for old neon letters, and they're pretty difficult to store because they're very delicate. And they just disappear. They get replaced with LEDs, and I think the neon light is just so beautiful. So whenever I come across an old sign, I ask for the letters, and usually it's pretty easy to get them. And look at this, it's just so beautiful. Just the glass work alone, it's so nice. So this is where I keep my neon stuff. ready. Guck mal, ist Mudo. Bist du gut drauf? Hast du ein Eis gegessen?
Ja, ich habe Eis gegessen.
Was machst du?
Ich wollte spazieren fahren.
Ja? Hast du es gefunden?
Ja, ich bin ein bisschen anders gewesen. War Mitteltalsperre, dann bin ich im Flughafen gewesen, ein paar alte Flugzeuge angeguckt.
Oh, geil.
Dann war ich im Saturn, ein paar CDs gekauft.
Bye, Harry. Okay, so this is the sewing room. It's supposed to be the sewing room. Right now, that's the only machine that works. Definitely more potential. I think the size of the room is perfect for that. And that pretty much concludes the whole area. I mean, there's the studio upstairs, but I think that's a completely different video for another time maybe. But yeah, that's the shop. I kind of view this video as a part 1 to show you the things that work and the things that obviously don't work. And for the future, I want to do some improvements and then maybe do another video in a year when all these problems, or most of them, are solved. And just see how it goes from there. A shop is always a work in progress. Everybody who has a shop knows this. It doesn't matter if your shop is small or big. It is the way how you use, or it is about the way how you use the space. And that is very, very personal. And that is something that you probably never stop improving on. And I love it. So I can't wait to clean up this mess and show you what ideas I have to organize the deep storage. Until then, I hope you enjoyed this video as much as we enjoyed making it, and I will see you next week with a new video. Bye.